Hello. All right. So I hit masters, and I'm just gonna kind of go over how I hit masters, kind of my learnings, I guess, and then some tips for if you're trying to get the masters or just any rank higher currently. So I am masters OCE. Uh, that might mean it means a little less to you guys, maybe. OCE is a fake region, I guess, but I am a ex grandmaster, so it's not exactly my first time hitting masters. I've hit masters first time in set 9. I've been playing since set 6. Hit diamond on my first set, which is impressive, I guess. And then yeah, I've been playing. I only hit masters in set 9. Damn, that's a long time ago though, right? It's like, wait, a while ago. 2 years? 3 years? I don't know. But yeah, I hit grandmasters I think first time in set 9.5. It just doesn't show because I decayed. Because I didn't know decay was a thing. Hit grandmasters in set 10. And then didn't really play. I got really burnt out. I think I grinded a lot on set 10. I got burnt out from the climb. I wasn't really having fun, so played a little bit in set 11 and 12, and then set 13 I decided to play a lot more, partly because of Arcane, and yeah, the set looks fun, so decided to play. So yeah, these are my stats. Not that interesting, I don't think. Got to Masters 150 games. That extra game I just played. That was my first Masters game. But for my score, if you ignore the 4th, that was my score leading up to the Masters. So I went on a bit of a run. Over 2 days. Yeah. Where I just kept getting top 4s. I only won 7th. Yeah, 3 of the games were on the current patch. So current patch is 13.3. I was mainly playing on last patch, which is 14.23, so the old patch naming convention. Yeah, that's the new patch because Vlad got buffed. So yeah, I played like 5 games on the new patch, but most of it was on the old patch. So yeah, how did I hit masters? What did I do basically? Like, how did I get there? Climb. So, I mean, I climbed fairly fast from silver to emerald. It doesn't really show in this graph, but I did climb through gold to plat. Plat took a few games actually to get through plat. Because I was still like coming back to TFT, so I was still learning things. I also never look at the set really before it's released. I usually just play. So yeah, I do play quite a few games. Might not be the best idea because you get so much LP at the start that you should, if you're good at the game, you should probably just like top 4 every game and then get all that LP and then boost yourself all the way to like Emerald really quick. Anyway, I got to Emerald fairly smoothly. Then Emerald was a bit of a struggle, a bit more of a struggle. I wouldn't say a huge struggle, but there was definitely like several days where I'm just kind of stuck in Emerald. But I got out of Emerald in about what is this? December 20th to December 30th. 2 weeks, kind of. Bit under 2 weeks. Yeah, and then the real climb kind of started in Diamond, I think. Diamond, when players started getting to like a good level, where they actually kind of, I had to actually try and improve, I guess, a little. So what have I learnt so far? I think I mean, this might just be a meta thing as well, but reroll is a lot less appealing, I think, than it was to me before. Mainly because reroll really doesn't give you any options. You're kinda just letting Mortdog decide your fate by saying, if I don't hit these units, I'm kind of screwed, you know? And it also opens you up to being contested, and that really lowers your average placement by a lot, you know? Like, an uncontested Tristana Urgot reroll comp versus a two-way, like a contested playing it goes from, like, I don't know, maybe an average of 3 to an average to, like, 5, you know? Like, 6. It's not good. So, I think being baited into reroll, really should try to avoid it, basically. Basically avoid reroll at all costs, unless you've got a really disgusting opener for the reroll. You hit like a nice augment, let's say you hit like, I don't know, like, Unleash the Beast, and you've got Urgot pair with a Tristana, you know, like, that's pretty good, you know. I would say probably play Urgot Tristana at that spot, and if you scout the lobby, make sure you're scouting. So yeah, your 2-1 augment matters a lot. Don't take an augment that commits you to a comp if you haven't got a really good spot for it, right? Especially if it's a reroll. So yeah, because yeah, I looked. I think it was around here. I mean, I was already winning a bit, but I think it was around here, Diamond 2, where I decided, you know what, I'll look at the top players and see what they're playing. I mean, how we can look at them now. So I was like, okay, let's look at Weaven Iverson. And I mean, look at his scoreline. What the hell is this? What is this man? This guy is a monster. 2.8 average. But yeah, if you look at his comps he's been playing, I literally scrolled, and I think pretty all of these are just not reroll comps. See, like, no reroll, no reroll. They're all like level 8, level 9 boards. The one time he goes 6th is because he went for Vander 3. I'm guessing this was a that augment, you know, that buffs Vander and Soko. But like everything else is all level 8, level 9 boards. Yeah. There's like 0 reroll. There's literally 0 reroll. I'm pretty sure. For 10 days. This guy did... Okay, there's some reroll. He played 2 Renata games 10 days ago. And some Kog'Maw. But that's a long time ago. So rerolls kind of bait. I do understand the appeal of reroll though. Like, as a beginner, it's very confusing. TFT is confusing. I've tried to introduce friends to the game, and it is hard. Like, getting anything above gold to plat to diamond is impressive, you know, especially if it's like your first or second set. It's hard, you know. You have to actually understand like a lot of units, how they work. You have to understand how to navigate like econ. You have to understand how to transition boards, you know, get a board from point A to B without just using the same units you had on the first board. So yeah, I can understand the appeal of reroll. You know, it gives you very clear direction from the start of the game. You can just commit, you know what you're looking for. You don't have to change your board very much at all. And then yeah, you just roll. You know what items, because you look at a stat website or whatever, and you're like, yeah, I will build these items that it recommends to me, and you can afford to greed items for your carries. So I understand the appeal of reroll. I'm not gonna say don't play reroll if you're silver, gold, even plat. Like, it's fine. You can play reroll. It's strong. It's also strong in those lobbies because tempo's lower probably, and so you get punished less for not hitting quickly. When I guess in higher ranks, you get punished for playing reroll if you don't hit especially fast, because your board's like strong-ish, like early to mid, depends on the reroll comp, but you're usually fairly strong mid to early mid, because you're rolling before anyone's rolling, and you're getting those 2 stars. But it falls off very hard if you don't get your 3 stars. by the time it's stage 4, end of stage 3, because people are leveling to 8 and they're rolling, and they're getting their 2-star 4 costs online, they're getting their boards online, and so you get really punished and lose a lot of HP if you don't hit quick. And then that just means you just bleed out, and then you get maybe a 4th, or you not top 4, right? Because someone with a super capped level 9, level 10 board just beats the crap out of you. So yeah, I think playing flexibly, I think you probably hear this a lot if you're watching guides, but playing flexibly is by far the most strong way of playing TFT, you know. So leading from that is don't be afraid to lose. Like, I think what I noticed when I did this climb to masters and I was recording it, I was getting really tilted when I was losing. Like this diamond 2 to diamond 3, like down here, I was so tilted. And you could tell from watching the videos if you watch them. I was tilted, I was annoyed. I was really frustrated with why I was losing. I didn't understand why I was losing as well, was why I was so frustrated. I think that's the worst. If you know why you lost, like, you can be like, oh yeah, I really fucked up here, blah blah blah. But if you're sitting there and you're like, I don't understand, like I thought my board was stronger than a 7th, you know, like my board is like super strong, how am I going 7th in this spot? It's really frustrating. And I think that's by doing this climb to masters is something I wouldn't recommend to people. Like, it's nice to have goals, definitely aim to reach a higher rank, but don't be afraid to be like, alright, I've just hit, let's say you just hit plat 4. You don't decay, right? That's a really nice thing about TFT. You do not decay. Like, you can't go from plat 4 back to gold, or you can't go from masters back to diamond, right? So really what you should be doing at those points, I mean, you can even do this at like plat 2, plat 1, but like it's better if you're doing it just at a new rank breakpoint, is experiment. Play shit you don't play. Like, just play. I'm not very well versed on Chem Baron. It did get nerfed, so maybe it's less appealing to learn it, but I should learn how to play Chem Baron. It's really strong. You know, like if you get a really good Chem Baron opener, it's a very easy comp to go first. But if you don't know how to play it, it's a very easy to go 8th, you know? Because it's one of those high risk, high rewards kind of comps. And to be honest, you'll be fine though if you don't learn those comps. Like I'm pretty sure in set 9 and 10, the gamble trait, I never learned it. Like I played the entire time. Like I often don't learn the gamble trait because one, it's quite rare to get a good opener for it because it requires a few pieces, and it's difficult to navigate, right? So if I was Diamond 1 and my next game is going to promote me to Masters, I'm not that confident in playing a Chem Baron angle. So it's kind of, you get less reps on it basically, and so you don't learn the comp that well. So what I'm saying is, if you're stuck in Diamond 4, or you're stuck in like Plat 4 or whatever, that's fine. Like, just play stuff you don't know, learn lines that you wouldn't usually play, so you can know, yeah, this line's not that great, or like, yeah, actually from this spot trying to pivot into this comp is actually not that bad. I should keep this in the back of my mind, you know? And really that's all TFT is about, is just being able to spot outs and ways to gain yourself placements, and then just knowing options. Options is the gold and options. I guess gold gives you options. So yeah. Don't play reroll right now. I think there's not many very strong reroll. And actually, that's another thing. Reroll stops you learning, because by playing reroll, you don't learn anything, because you're not playing different comps. You're just always playing the same like 2 or 3 comps of reroll. So yeah, try and get some reps, because let's say you're playing Emissary for the first time. You don't know what you're doing on 4 Emissary. It's really hard, because maybe you look at the stat website that says what to play for emissaries. Let's see, what does it say? Comps. So let's say you're playing I'm trying to find like a board that's kind of like difficult to play, that's flex. Yeah, let's say you're playing this, and this is what the game recommends you play. I mean, to be honest, that's probably is the strongest version of it. But let's say you're level 8 and you're rolling for this. This is a very expensive board. Let's say you don't hit most of this. Like, what do you do if you don't hit Corki or Vi, you know? Like, what else do you play? Let's say you hit like a 2-star Silco or like a 2-star Alawi. Like, do you play Alawi instead of Vi? Do you play some Sentinels, you know? Do you drop the Twisted Fate and you play like Alawi plus a Rumble you found randomly? Or like if you say you got on a really early, what's his name? Jace. You can play maybe like 4 form swappers. So like knowing slight variations of a comp is like pretty, it's nice, you know, it helps you climb. And so that's why you have to actually play the comp to get an idea sometimes of what's a good like stand-in, or what's good if you're missing, like maybe you're hitting something else. And just how to kind of like bridge over to get to the ideal board, you know. And sometimes you don't even need to get to the ideal board that these stat websites tell you. Sometimes, you know, you hit a board that's strong enough and you can go 9-10 and you can cap your board out with a slightly different version of it. So yeah. I think I would recommend stat websites in general though, or like helping sites to beginners, because yeah, like if you're a beginner, you have no clue what you're doing. Maybe, I mean, even like gold, silver, plat, you know, you want to know what your ideal board looks like. I would still look at some of these websites. I think don't copy it for unit, but think, yeah, like, or if I'm gonna play Rebel, I mean Rebel's pretty easy, just play Rebel units. Let's say, I mean, like this Twitcher, Bruiser Twitch, like you can piece this board together in your head if you know what you're doing. Like I piece this together without looking at the site. I'm like, oh yeah, you probably play Mundo, Twitch, and Nunu, and I guess you have to play a Bruiser frontline with Twitch because Twitch doesn't really connect to any like Sentinel or Watcher board. But I didn't know about how strong Bruiser Spat on Dr. Mundo would be, because it just fits your board so nicely together. You get 3 experimented, 6 Bruiser at 8. And you even get Sniper, I'm pretty sure. So without the Spat, it's a pretty hard comp to play. But you wouldn't know that if you didn't look at the site. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, pretty good. And one other thing, I think I gave this advice, I just commented on a random video, but that video was pretty good because it made me think. It made me think like, well, you know, like what are the mistakes he's making, and are these mistakes I'm making myself, you know? And I think I am making them in some games. And that is item economy. Like, it's really underrated, I think, for beginners and, you know, even intermediate players, because I didn't really think about this until much more recently, is item economy. So if you're getting dropped items, I don't know, let's just say you have this opener, right? And I don't know, whatever augment you get. Doesn't matter really. Let's say you got a chain, a glove, and I don't know, a sword. So, I mean, most people here are probably slamming IE, and to be honest, I would too. Just build an IE, right? And then you leave the belt open for a defensive item. Now, where item economy really matters later is when you have a lot more components. Let's say you've got a whole bunch of components. Yeah, okay, let's say we got this. Now it's difficult because I'm trying to think of like an item combination that like demonstrates my point. But okay, let's start with the basics and then I'll give an example, I guess. Sorry, this is a bit all over the place. You always want to be building 3 items for a unit. So it's whether that's 3 defensive items for a tank or 3 carry items for a carry unit. You never want to be in a situation where you've got 2 items and 2 items, 2 items on like multiple units, you know, because that's just really bad. Because like if you have a Vi and you have an Ambessa and then you have like a Garen, or maybe okay, let's say you got an AP carry somewhere. No, like Nami, Ambessa. Let's say you're playing like the 4 emissary board. You really don't want to have the situation where you've got like a Warmogs, you've got like maybe a Sunfire, and then you've got like a BT, but then oh no, you've got like a Shojin, and then you've got like Archangels. You know, this is really bad. You know, you really don't want this to be happening in your games. Like ideally, okay, if you got this item combination, bad luck, I guess. but you really want to have like, I don't know, maybe let's say you had the carousel choices give you this for some reason. Let's say you took a tier of carousel by accident. Maybe that tier could have been redemption because you took a belt, and so then suddenly now you've got redemption. So you got 3 item tank, and then maybe instead of building on Bessa item, you finished off your Nami items. You know, like you got a whatchamacallit, Adaptive Helm or something like this. So you got 3 item tank, 3 item carry, and then I guess you would have to 3-star Nami in this case to actually make the comp good. So yeah, I think people I see the mistake a lot is people not thinking about their slams and how it will influence the future. Because and this is another problem with stat websites, is let's say you got sword tier, bow tier, belt, glove maybe, I don't know. So okay, now I'm gonna do the example of the video I commented on because I actually remember that one. What was it? It was like another sword was the situation. He had like 2 swords, a rod, this, and like a cloak, I think was just his open, something like that. And he was playing Kog'Maw, so he really wanted to slam. He had like Nocturne, Amumu, and like the situation was like you want to play Kog'Maw, right? So if you look at like a website, it'll just say, oh, slam, you know, just slam like Rageblade, and I think, was it even another rod? Or was it another bow? I forgot. But you managed to slam like Rageblade. So you slam like Rageblade, and you slam like Archangels, I think it was, or Static Shiv. I think he slammed Static Shiv. Yeah, I think this was the case. So you got Rageblade and you went Static Shiv. Like Static Shiv, Rageblade, Kog'Maw is good. Like that's completely fine. Problem is he ended up with 2 swords. You know, like you can make BT Nocturne maybe, but he's still left with a sword. And then if you go back to what I was talking about earlier, is now you've got half carry items on Nocturne, half carry items on Kog'Maw, and 0 tank items. Like, you really want to have tank items in a Kog'Maw comp in particular because you want Kog'Maw to scale. And unless you're going for Nocturne 3, items on him really doesn't do anything. And like a Nocturne 3 is like a nice benefit of rolling for Kog'Maw, like if you have enough gold and you're win streaking, whatever. So what you could do instead of slamming the like ideal perfect items is you could have slammed what was it? It was like Shojin GS static, I think was the slams you could do, right? Static Oh, it wasn't static, it was a Rage Blade, wasn't it? So you could go like Shojin, you go GS, you go Rage Blade, and then you just have... So that kills your 2 swords. And then you have a cloak for your tank item that's just like left open. I think it was even worse than the cloak. I think he had a glove left over, which could be steadfast. I think he would go for steadfast. Because, yeah, slamming IE is a bit suspicious on a Nocturne if you're not going for a 3-star. So, this, in a way, the item economy means that you're very unlikely to get another sword. And I mean, you can still get offensive components, so like 3-item Cogmore, but it's still 3-item Cogmore, I guess. But now from here, like you can go 3-2 carousel, or even I forgot what stage it was, but like 3-5 carousel. You just go for chain on carousel, which is more likely to come on. You're more likely to get defensive components, I feel, on carousels because people are often prioritizing their carries items first. So it means you can go steadfast, and then later in the game, they got a Warmogs, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, and then you can get like steadfast Warmogs, and that's a much better tank item for. It wouldn't be on a Moo, it would be on Blitz, but you know, you get the idea. Where is he? Blitz. So I think item economy is something you should look at. I don't know, is there any tools like, it's because I know there's like a reroll tool where it's like it gives you a spot, it gives you a certain amount of gold, and you have to reroll and build the strongest board you possibly can using like a simulator. And it's like a way to like practice rolling at like level 8 or whatever level you are to get a strong board. It's usually level 8 because you usually level 8's the standard flex board to build. I wonder if there's an item slam simulator where it just gives you like some components and then you slam items and then it moves on to like next creep round or like carousel and says like which component would you choose and then blah blah blah, and then at the end it would like you can see like how your items turned out. Because I think in the game I was watching they ended up with really awkward items. He ended up with like Rage Blade, this Hextech, which is really good. Like this is a really nice 3-item Cogmore. But the problem was his front line, he didn't have items on the front line. He had like a Starax. What did he have? He had like a Starax. I think IE. He had like Starax IE. And then a even shroud. I think this was what his items ended up being later into the game. And that's just super awkward. Because now you've got a Nocturne. Like this is a Nocturne 2. Now you've got really a Nocturne 2, you've got like a Blitz 2, Cogmore 2, and like you're never getting enough items to fully itemize Blitz anymore, I don't think. Like you can 3-item Nocturne, but that's only good if you 3-star him. And then yeah, you have no tank, and so your comp kind of just dies before Cogmore can ramp up. And this applies to all comps. This is just a specific situation where I thought, this is a really good example of what I've been thinking about item economy and like how like quote unquote best items can really fuck you over and like fuck your game over, because it just makes all your rest of your items really awkward. So yeah, I mean there's a bunch of other things like yeah, so item economy is really important. It's kind of hard. Maybe I make an entire video because I can show these to my friends to hopefully get them into DFT and like try and bridge the gap. Maybe I do some tutorials kind of ideas. But yeah, I mean also holding units, holding the right units, but that's meta dependent, so I won't talk about that here. So yeah, item economy and not being baited into playing reroll, I think are the two big takeaways I've had from my climb to masters. Just really thinking about, well, if I slam this item, I know it's subpar, but like it leaves my other items more open to something useful than if I slam something. Like the big one I'm guilty of not doing, I think, is like maybe not in Twitch in particular, but let's say you're playing an AD line, or any line really, is guard breaker. Like, the number of times I've had glove open, and it's like, do I want to save this glove for IE? Because I really want to build an IE, but I've got like, I don't know, like a belt on a something really bad that slams into a belt. I don't know, like rod, I guess. It's like, do I just slam the giant's belt? Because like I'm not making JG here, right? I'm never making JG because let's say for some reason I'm more committed to, let's say I've got Last Whisper already built. Like IE is like huge, right? Like IE Last Whisper is a really good combo, but otherwise my other slab is just a Morellos, which might be okay in some spots, but it's not that great. It's like worse than slamming Guardbreaker in this spot, right? Because like what you can do is just slam Guardbreaker, but now you've got Rod open, and then on the next carousel or whatever, let's say you prioritize Chain, and then you can get a Crown Guard, which is like it's an defensive component, but to be honest, it's not that bad, I guess. Like, let's say you're playing okay, Lowry's one of the, I don't think she's a good user of it, but Crown Guard's it's a frontline item. You know what? They don't have to be good. That's the point. They don't have to be amazing items. You have to be comfortable slamming items which are good. You know, like better than what am I trying to say? I'd slam items that are good and better than losing all the HP of not slamming an item, and like you could also just be sitting there and slamming it anyway. Because let's say okay, what was the situation? You had this, right? And let's say next creeps or whatever, you get offered, I don't know, what would make you? Oh, okay, let's say you get Chain and I don't know, Cloak. You already got Last Whisper, so you don't want to be slamming Last Whisper, like the Even Shroud. So what's your slams? It's like, well, I could make like Crown Guard, but then I'm left with QSS and Even Shroud again, so I can't do that. I could slam Gargoyles, which is okay, a pretty good tank item. But now I'm left again with the same 3 items. Oh, I have to slam Guardbreaker anyway. So you end up slamming Guardbreaker anyway, and you've lost like an extra 5 HP, or like losing your win streak. You could have kept winning if you had your items slammed. So that's what I mean. So item economy, I can't stress just how important it is. And always have a 3 item carry. Like even if it ends up not being IE, let's say best case you get IE. Let's say the worst case, I don't know, you're slamming Deathblade. That's actually a pretty good case. I don't know, like GS. You could slam a GS. GS later is fine. You're missing the glove to make IE, but it's whatever, you know? Like this at like with a win streak or like higher HP, and now you can go 9 versus being like 10 HP and you're forced to roll at 8 to find all your upgrades to make sure you don't die, and then you're gonna go 6th anyway because you just bled out too much HP from your awkward slams, and your frontline items are like giga trash. You got Morellos, and you've got something, you know, you got some really bad items. So yeah, I think that's all I've got to say. This is a pretty long video of me just rambling. But yeah, I don't know. I just can't stress it enough. Like, item economy is if you're struggling with that. Economy and stuff you can hold, that's an entirely different video. But yeah, and then not forcing yourself into a line. Always keeping your options open. Like, part of why econ is so strong is because it keeps your options open, because you have gold to make choices. You can level, you can roll, etc. So not forcing yourself into a one line through reroll is a good idea, I think. So that's what I've got to say. Hopefully some of these tips and what I've been talking about make sense. Yeah, so hope you guys have a good climb. I'm certainly going to try and hit Grandmasters, I think. I mean, I can even try and aim for Challenger. It's fairly early in the set. I can even probably try and hit Challenger. I don't think I'm that good to hit Challenger. I think I need to do some actual learning to get there. Oh, if you're new and the game is really confusing, which it is, this guy, Sub-Zero Arc, he puts out really good videos if you're trying to learn. He reviews a lot of the very top players. They're just very good, very informative. They're a bit hard, I think, to understand if you're new to the game. So as a complete beginner, I probably wouldn't watch his stuff. I mean, still watch it might still be useful. But I think if you know the game a bit, let's say you're gold plat, these videos are really helpful. I've been watching him for a while, not on this account, this is my YouTube account, but on my private account, I've practically watched every single video of his for the past I mean, definitely this set I've been watching a lot since I've started playing. But when I was playing in set 9, I was watching a lot on set 10, I think. Yeah. He releases videos daily, so there's never like a lack of content. And they're just very informative. He walks through them very well. He usually picks up on most things. Sometimes he misses things, but no, it's a great channel. I really recommend it if you're trying to climb, especially if you're stuck, let's say Plat, Emerald, Diamond. If you're in those 3 ranks, give this guy a watch. He covers the best players, and he covers all the new tech as well. So any new tech like Tank Cogmore, this patch there's this Syra Darius reroll comp coming out. How LeBlanc buffs actually make her really strong. Ziggs reroll stuff, yeah, better than Silco. Like they're talking about how Ziggs could carry you to 9, so you can play Silco like at level 9 in Silco. 4-form swapper, Zeri reroll stuff. The Enforcer stuff before it was popular. It's definitely strong this patch, so even though this is last patch, give them a watch. It gives you an idea of how to play Enforcer. Yeah, just really good knowledge from top players, and he's got really good knowledge. I'm pretty sure he's a challenger player as well. So yeah, give this guy a check out. He's really good.